29.
28 seconds.
27.
26.
25 seconds.
24. 23.
22 seconds.
21 seconds.
20 seconds.
19.
18.
17 seconds.
16.
15 seconds.
14.
13 seconds.
12.
11.
10 seconds. 9.
8.
7.
6.
It's what?
Copy.
5 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
Hi folks and welcome back to the Scotch Tracker. Today joining me is Deep Space Nine and Voyager stuntwoman Leslie Hoffman. Welcome Leslie and thanks very much for joining me.
Oh, thank you. It's wonderful to know that that Star Trek is international.
Cool. So looking back, what are your earliest memories of Star Trek?
Well, my earliest memory, I'm old enough that I did watch, I unfortunately didn't watch the original Star Trek when it first aired in the late 60s, but I did catch it, let's say, right around that time period. So I used to watch the episodes and I actually memorized them. And in 1973, I went down to New York City to the actual second Star Trek convention. And, you know, I got to meet George Takei and oh, it was a wonderful experience. And there was a trivia contest and I entered it. And I came in third, which I think is pretty amazing. I mean, that's how much I love Star Trek. So, you know, when it went off the air, you still have a love of Star Trek. And you know, well, I always wanted to be an actress or a stunt woman. And, you know, I just never thought... You long that you wish you could be on Star Trek, but you know that it was over with. I actually was back in New York when they started filming The Next Generation, but I came back to California and it was amazing. I was hired to work on Deep Space Nine and then later on Voyager. But like I say, you were asking about my earliest memories. My earliest memories was watching Star Trek at my parents' house and enjoying all the episodes.
Cool. So how did you start working on the show?
Dennis Madeline, who is the stunt coordinator of Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, he and Tom Morga and I, and others, we all started at a stunt gym in Santa Monica. This is before we even were members of the Screen Actors Guild. And you have to be a member of the Screen Actors Guild to work on a union show. In order to work on a union show, you have to be a member of the Screen Actors Guild. It's a vicious circle, but you can break in. But the answer to your question, well, or like I say, I've known Dennis for 40 years now. I mean, time flies, but we stay in contact all the time.
So what was the most difficult stunt that you had to do on Star Trek?
Believe it or not, I would say the most difficult stunt was actually a 3-foot drop out of what was supposed to be this, I don't know if it was a shuttlecraft or something, but in the Voyager episode Extreme Risk. And yep, And as you can see, well, you can't see the front of the helmet, but as you can see, there's something on my back, and the helmet stuck out way out in front. So there was pads, like I say, 3 feet below me. But if I jumped out and landed on my stomach, I would hit the front of the helmet and possibly whiplash my neck. If I were to jump out and quickly turn over to my back, I would be hitting, that stuff that's on my back, and I could injure my back. So actually, it was Tom Morga that sometimes the simplest solution, or you just don't think of the simplest solution, is, he said, stagger the stunt pads. In other words, the bottom pad was sticking out that the front of my helmet would hit the bottom pad, while my stomach or my upper torso would hit the top pad. And that way I didn't get hurt. But there is a second one. On Deep Space Nine, I stunt doubled Vedic Yasim in Rocks and Shoal, where I had to jump off the promenade. And yes, she was committing suicide to make a point that the Cardassians should not take over Deep Space Nine. And again, there was the way when I arrived on the set, the pads were set up that the thick stunt pad was sitting on top of boxes, and it really should have been the other way around, that the solid pad should be on the bottom with the boxes on top, that my legs would go through the boxes to stop me. I mean, otherwise, if I had to hit the blue stunt pad first, my knees would have gone right up into my face. So those were probably the most dangerous. But I did a lot of fun. Well, I call it fun stunts, but I've rappelled on Voyager. But like I say, a bunch of stunts.
And did you have any difficulty wearing any of the alien makeup?
I especially had difficulty when I was doubling Torres, because she had a long hair wig, and even though actually that's a perfect example, is she has a long hair wig, and even though they powder down the makeup you're wearing, it's still sticky. So if you're fighting and swinging around, your hair gets stuck to your face and you can't see anything. And that's from Blood Fever, when she had Pon farr and had to fight Vorik, the Vulcan.
Do you know if there was a studio reason for the two-handed punch?
I think that's just a Dennis Madeline move. If you notice, another move that you'll see a lot is when people get shot, they kind of do a one leg kick up and bend the other leg back. Those are just Dennis Madeline moves.
So what was it like working with stunt coordinator Dennis Madeline?
It was absolutely wonderful. He's probably one of the safest stunt coordinators in the business. I mean, he really made sure people were either properly padded or I don't know if you have a picture of it or not, is when I was doubling Mila. She was supposed to be already dead and was thrown down a flight of stairs. Well, originally, I think they were just going to make the stairs out of wood. You know, like I say, things are made out of wood and then they get painted silver or something that they look like it's metal. But when when he read the script, he saw that he felt the staircase was dangerous, and at the production meeting he said, "No, I want this staircase carpeted and padded underneath the carpet. I do not want a solid banister because I don't want her to hit her head, on the banister." I mean, he really took care of us all. The other thing that I'd like to mention about with Dennis is, like I say, he was the stunt coordinator of, well, like I say, when I came in, Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and there might be a stunt on both shows. There might be what's called second unit, where they're picking up shots on the previous episode, and he may have a production meeting. So he had a group of us as assistant stunt coordinators, and I was the only woman that he trusted to be an assistant stunt coordinator. All the other ones were male. So, I mean, I'm very grateful for Dennis believing in me that a woman could handle the job of being a stunt coordinator.
Did you ever work with Patricia Tolman, who starred on Babylon 5 as well as doing stunts on multiple Star Trek shows?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, we're friends. I of course I know Patricia, or I shouldn't say of course, but I know Patricia Tolman. But there just wasn't an episode that we ended up working together. She used to do a fundraiser for children called Penny Lane, and I would be a part of that. But like I say, that was a fundraiser outside of Star Trek. But no, she's a wonderful person.
Cool. Was there a Star Trek series in particular you most enjoyed working on?
Oops. Okay, I missed that question. Sorry about that. Say that again.
Was there a Star Trek series in particular you most enjoyed working on?
Okay. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I got it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I really enjoyed doubling Torres because she was allowed to fight like a man. It was really strange. Well, going back to actually the original Star Trek, at the same time was Batman, and they introduced Batgirl. She was not allowed to throw a punch. If you watch Batman episodes, she only kicked people because maybe it was unladylike, maybe someone decided that a human woman throwing a punch wouldn't hurt a guy. And unfortunately, all the way up to even Enterprise, human women were really not allowed to beat up people. I mean, if you were an alien woman, which Torres was, um, I was allowed to fight. So, like in Day of Honor, with Tom Morga, there's right, that one, that we were punch per punch in that episode.
Cool. What projects are you currently working on that you'd like to promote?
Um, well, actually, I retired in 2002, but I am going to Star Trek conventions. I'll be in Las Vegas in the middle of August. I'm going to a different convention Labor Day, and there's a convention in New Jersey the middle of September. So even though there's, when you say project, I think of movie or television show. I don't have anything like that, but I've been busy with, like I say, with conventions. Another thing is these interviews about Star Trek. I mean, it's amazing the love of Star Trek, or what Star Trek has instilled in people. It's for a show that only was 2.5 seasons. It's amazing what a huge franchise it's become. Or, well, I guess that's more studio talk, but it's amazing the morals that it's taught the fans, and that the fans believe in Star Trek.
So, like speaking about like the fans, where can fans find you on social media these days?
Not doing. I was doing so good, and now I'm not doing so good. Oh, okay. If you want to read about me or what I'm up to, is on Facebook. There's the Leslie Hoffman, I forget the whole name, appreciation page. So you can post there or ask questions, and I check it daily, multiple times. That if you were to ask a question, I'll write back to you or whoever, with an answer. That's probably the best way to reach me. And actually, I have a horror page also, a Leslie Hoffman horror page, because many fans remember me as the hall guard on Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I have a story about that. Is the person, Kane Hodder, I showed him that picture, and he said, "Where did you fake that picture?" And I go, "What are you talking about? That's a screen capture from the movie." He goes, "No, it's not." I go, "Why? What are you talking about?" And well, if you go back to the picture, do you see that my sleeves don't have any stripes on them?
Mm-hmm.
They're solid red. Well, the original sweater was that sweater. It didn't have the stripes. But when they went to make the second Nightmare on Elm Street, they didn't have the sweaters in wardrobe anymore, and the only sweaters they could find were red and green stripes, all the way. So Kane Hodder is telling me that I'm I'm making up that picture from the original Nightmare on Elm Street. No, that's really me.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been great to speak with you.
Oh, it was wonderful speaking with you. And again, if it wasn't for the fans, I guess we wouldn't be having this episode right now, or this interview right now.
Yeah. So we can be thankful to the fans. And to your viewers, please remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on the Scotch Tracker. Track you later.
Okay.